Hi, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. Oh, and also hi, Cheryl. I saw who just popped right on. I'm really stoked to have you all here today. This is my first webinar, so you'll have to bear with me if I have any technical snafus or poop hits the fan. Just hang in there if you could, but I'm super, super excited to have you on today. So I want to make this really interactive. I want you to, as we go throughout the slides and go through the information, those top 7 tips and how to decrease holiday stress for moms, I want you to jump in and ask some questions, even if you want to go now into the chat and let me know if there's kind of burning questions that you have. I want to make sure that by the end of this webinar that you really feel that all your questions are answered, that you can go into the holidays this year actually having fun and not be stressed out of your mind, which is kind of the normal go-to for a lot of us. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And if anyone kind of jumps in, like, don't worry about it. You can kind of just jump in wherever that you are, and we'll get started right away. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share here. We will start the webinar. And if you hear my little boy upstairs bumping around, that's because he's with daddy right now. So, all right, so let's go in here and get started. Now, can I just get from you guys then too, because I just see what I see on my screen. So I want to make sure that you are seeing the slides, this top 7 tips to decrease holiday stress for moms. Can someone just go ahead and say like yes or yes, I see it? Just so I kind of know you guys can see this okay. So can you see the screen? I'm going to assume everything's cool and ladies, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Cool. Thank you so much, Cheryl. All right, so let's go ahead here. So the top 7 tips to decrease holiday stress for moms. Again, I want to first welcome you for being here today. This is, again, our first of many webinars that I want to do with Mom at 41, and really, really excited. And I want to acknowledge you for being here today. I know being a mom can be super busy and crazy, and I know it might have been a little bit of a juggling act to get here on the call today. So I just want to know how much I really sincerely appreciate you for being here. So this is going to be an action-packed hour. This is part of my why. These are my 2 boys, Tyson, you see up top there, the goofy one. We call him Monkey, and he, yeah, he's crazy. He's 4 now. That's actually from about a year ago, and then me with Kai down below. But I want to first go ahead and go through a little bit of housekeeping. And so let's kind of take a look at stuff you have around you. So if you have your phone, turn it off, or just put it on vibrate. I want you to really focus the best you can, especially if you've got the kids around right now then too. And I want to give you a little bit of information about my why and where I've really come from as well. If you can also too, try not to go onto Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and all that kind of stuff, but really just give yourself permission to be here right now and to be present. If you need to run off to be with one of your kids, no problem, go ahead and do that, and then just come on back. This is being recorded, but I really do think you're going to get the best out of this webinar if you really stay engaged during these full 60 minutes. And this is interactive. So as I mentioned, I mean, you're seeing the slides right now, not me on the screen, but this is a live chat. And so if there's, questions you have that come up, you're not really sure, I'll do my best to kind of be watching the questions as they come up as well then too, as we go through it the next little bit of time together. All right, so past the housekeeping then, that's kind of go right in. So I want to share with you my why of Mom at 41. And also, I'm sorry, actually, I'm going to go back just for a second and let you know then too the gifts for today. So you should have all gotten the best holiday baking guide when you registered for the webinar. The Kindle giveaway we're doing at the very end, so you got to stick around the webinar to the very end. And I'm adding people's names onto the random selector to kind of do that giveaway at the very end. And I have a surprise gift at the end then too. So who the heck am I? I want you to give you a little bit more information about you. Some of you might know me personally from the podcast, from the website, but I want to first give you a little bit of background about me so you know who I am. So I am first and foremost a wife to my awesome hubby, Ed. We have been together now for 22 years, which is crazy. We met in a bar. I know it's not a really romantic story. We met in a bar. We have been together ever since. We've been married for 14 and a half years. And we've been through a lot over this time, some good, not so good, major life curveballs. And as cheesy as this sounds, he is my best friend and is also my business partner. He's a great daddy. He's funny. I love him more and more each day, even when he's driving me nuts. And we just really decided we were in this together throughout the rest of our lives. I've been a chiropractor since 2001. My brother is also a chiropractor. He actually worked in his office for 4 or 5 years after university. And that's what really kind of spurred me to become a chiropractor, was seeing all the miracles in the office every single day. So after working in his office for a little bit of time, I was just really inspired and went, geez, I really like to do this too. So went off to chiropractic college. Ed and I moved from Toronto at the time to California. And Ed was actually in school for anthropology, and he switched after 2 years and decided to become a chiropractor too. So that's kind of our whole story about it. I stayed in California for a year after I graduated in 01 while I was still finishing up school. And then we opened up our practice in 2002. And so we just feel really blessed. You know, we're a wellness chiropractic office. So we see people not when they are hurting only, but really to stay well and to have an extraordinary quality of life. We see new babies, we see kids, we see whole families come into our office. And over the time that we've been in the office as well, too, education has been a big part of what we do. We think it's important for people to kind of really understand the why of why they're here within the office, how to actually be healthy, and to give them all the tools to really get there. And so we've been teaching workshops since we opened, since 2002, whether it was in or outside of our offices, to businesses, to schools, to kind of you name it. And so we've taught workshops on chiropractic care, on how to reduce stress, on how to eat well, and how to move properly, have purpose, how to really get and live an extraordinary quality of life. We then actually moved a lot of our workshops into an online program we created earlier this year called Primal 4, which is a series of, I think it's 30 videos that we created with that. But during this whole kind of process, I also too have been blogging on our chiropractic office website. So you can see there's Synergy Family Wellness Center. We're in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada, for those of you that are not within the area. And, you know, I really, really wanted to write. It was a big passion of mine. But here's what I found. So I blogged about chiropractic, about nutrition, about movement, purpose, and parenting and adoption, since I'm an adoptive mom. And the ones that I would blog about with parenting, they got the most likes and shares and comments and emails coming through, and patients in the office would kind of take me aside and go, oh, you know, the thing you mentioned about your kids driving you crazy or feeling like you're not a good mom, like I feel the same thing too. And this conversation kept happening again and again and again of, I thought it was only me. I think I'm a crappy mom too. I didn't know there was anyone else that felt that way, or feel like I'm a bad mom. I'm not enough. And yet they didn't feel like they could have these conversations with their best friends or with their family. And so my story of becoming a mom was a tough one. It took me 7 years until I was able to become mommy. Me holding Tyson that you can see there on the left, the one where I'm looking a little bit younger with the blue jacket on. That was like literally minutes after Tyson was born. I think that look on my face kind of says it all. It's like awe and gratitude and joy and like, holy crap, here we go. But we had struggled for years to become pregnant. We thought, like, I think like most of us, there's never going to be an issue. Let's start trying. Let's go. And we did. And we went through a lot of the fertility tests and procedures. And it just got to a point where I just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Even actually, we were still kind of going through some of the different procedures to try to get pregnant when we'd already kind of gone through the process of adoption and gotten on the list, and still thought, oh, we can do this. We can get pregnant. And so it never happened. But then Tyson came into our lives. And that was when I turned 41. So it was 7 years from when I started trying. So mom at 41 is me. That's when I became a mom at 41. And then Kai came into our life. You can see on my right-hand side, I'm not sure if it's your right or left, when I turned 44. And so right now Tyson is 4. So funny when I look at him. He's just a little peanut in that picture, all swallowed up. And Kai, who was, oh my gosh, 5 pounds, 5 ounces when he was born. He was so little. He is now 15, almost 16 months. And I've even seen the picture too. Look at his little back. He was like super hairy. He was a little monkey, that one, but so, so blessed to have become a mom. You know, becoming a mom happens whichever way it does. And through me was through adoption. And honestly, if it wasn't for this struggle, there'd be no mom at 41. And so, you know, you often kind of look back on life and see the reasons for things happening. This, I know, was definitely the reason for me to produce this. So we've done lots of kind of articles in our local papers about adoption, and people have kind of gotten to know that we're one of the families in our community. We live in St. Albert, and it's about 60,000 people here. So it's been really cool. I mean, after this article actually came out when Kai was probably 2 months old, I wrote a story about both of them, which if you've been listening to the podcast or following the blog, they're actually on there then too. And then I podcasted about it. And big pauses in between when I edited because I'd be like crying reading those stories again. But when I wrote the one about Kai, because it was literally an instant placement, we got the call, it was on again, off again for about 36 hours. It was crazy. And then finally kind of adoption, went through and everything was good to go. And we picked him up at the hospital. But it was this crazy I call it the 36-hour roller coaster ride that I decided to blog about it. So I did. It was really kind of raw. And our local paper picked it up and asked if we wanted to do a story. So we've done a couple things since, and I'm happy to do so to get the word out really about how beautiful that adoption really is. So Mama 41. So here's the thing. So as I mentioned too, that, I just felt after a while of blogging on our chiropractic office website that I needed to find a space for this. I needed to have like a different home, I guess, than what I was doing on our chiropractic office on the Synergy website. And so I didn't really know how it was going to look, but I really wanted to create this space, this community, a place for moms to be able to come in and go, you know what? I feel like I suck today. I feel like a shitty mom today. I don't want to be judged. I just want to be supported and inspired and loved, and knowing that there are other moms around that feel that way. So that was really the birth of Mom at 41. As I was preparing to launch the podcast, which Mom at 41 podcast launched the end of July of this year, I thought, okay, I'm going to start kind of growing the Facebook group. And what was crazy is it absolutely exploded. So in 4 weeks, it went up to 3,000 likes. When the podcast then came out, now I think we're at 6,300 likes. Just amazing. So since then, the Facebook page started the beginning of July, then the podcast end of July. I am now a Desire Map facilitator for the Desire Map work, which is the work of Danielle, the awesome Danielle Laporte. And this is just the start. I'm really, really excited about everything that's going to be happening with Mom at 41. So yeah, so the podcast launched and we hopped into New and Noteworthy, which is where they see kind of the most, I guess, the most popular, if you will, the new and the noteworthy podcast. And this was in Canada, US. And so it was really fun to see all that action. And then I mentioned too, by becoming a Desire Map licensee, and I'll get into that towards the end then too. There are 3 women that have really inspired me along this journey. And so the top left you're seeing is Brene Brown, bottom is Danielle Laporte, and the right is Glennon Doyle Melton from mamastory.com. So that's me at the bottom looking really, really goofy, meeting Danielle Laporte about 3 weeks ago when I went to somewhere called Open Books. And thrilling to meet her. But a lot of these 3 women talk about a lot of the stuff that I've really taken into Mom at 41, embracing her imperfections, knowing that you are enough. Really, again, when it comes to moms, which Brene Brown talks about it, Glenn Doyle Melton with mamastory.com, Danielle Laporte's a mom. She talks about it a little bit here and there. But really, again, they are the ones that really inspired me. Specifically, this Brene Brown quote, which I'll read you right now, which is the bottom of any of my emails if you get them from me. So Brene Brown says that you're imperfect, you're wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. I'm going to say that again because I think it's really important. You are imperfect, you are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. So these 3 women have really inspired me to do what I'm doing with Mom at 41. So before we get started, there's a couple things I need you to know. You are imperfect. We all are. It's okay to think that this, mummy thing is just hard. We can even say, yeah, it sucks some days. It really sucks some days. It's funny, before I became a mom, and because we were struggling so hard to become parents, my husband and I would hear the moms, quote unquote, complain about their kids, which we all kind of, we'll do these things at times. Before that, though, when people would say like, oh, we want to just take my kids, and they didn't know that we were going through the struggle of trying to conceive and just really, going through a lot of pain with that. And in my head, I think like, okay, yeah, I'll take your kids. You don't want them? That's fine. I'll take them, and didn't quite understand that for us to just give a voice to these struggles and frustrations, it's just really kind of how we cope. I want you to also know that you are enough, that we all feel very similar stuff, and you're definitely not the only one. We all feel very, very similar in this mommy journey, which is it's tough. And I think that the more we talk about it, the less tough that it becomes, and we don't feel like we're all alone. So let's get right into it. So this is the top 7 tips to decrease stress for the holidays. I'm going to kind of fire through these quickly, but I kind of came across this really cool slide recently that took a look at where does this holiday stress actually even come from? Oh, I'm sorry, this is slipping through. There we go. Okay. So a big chunk of that you can see is actually from family and in-laws. Another big chunk is just stuff that we place on ourselves. And then the next thing is kind of, money, shopping, all that kind of stuff then too. So the top number 1 tip that I feel is really important to decreasing stress for the holidays is to do things to give you more energy. So I'm going to give you 5 simple ways to really do that. All right. One is to meditate 5 minutes a day. I had this really fun thing with the Mom at 41 community about a month ago called the 30-day Mama Meditation Experience. And so we all committed, there's about 20 of us, to meditating just 5 minutes a day and just really focusing on what that can do. And I'm telling you, 5 minutes of meditation can be enough to, to really feel like you're rested, to feel like you've taken a big nap. Because, I think when it comes back to energy as well, then too, we all need to have more of that, especially as moms. Somehow we think that energy looks like this. So this is somehow our standard, that we jump out of bed in the morning, we're ready for action, we don't eat coffee, we get all 20 tasks on our to-do list before 10 a.m. and think that that's the way it should be. But you know what, really? Let's cut the crap, because that is fantasy. Okay, it does not exist. We have to live in reality here. And the reality is many of us are very, very tired. We're exhausted. And yes, some of these things are from our actions and our choices, like maybe going to bed late or not getting enough sleep. But some are simply because it takes tons of energy to care for our children. For those of us who also work, take care of our home, create time for our significant other and nurturing that relationship, family and friends, remembering birthdays, and the holidays too. Okay, so it feels like we're kind of just constantly going. Some of us don't get sleep through the night, like I still do with my 2 boys at times. So as opposed to saying like, oh my God, this is just the way it is, or life is so busy, here are some simple steps. So back in. So meditation, 5 minutes a day, nothing fancy, sitting on the floor, closing your eyes and breathing. Okay, you could lie on the floor if you want. However, I found when I've done that, I fall asleep. So maybe the sitting is a little bit of a better idea. And preferably if the kids aren't there, maybe engaged, right? So you can just kind of stay focused. Maybe they're watching a movie and you can just kind of, to start your meditation for 5 minutes. So that's tip number 1. This other way is to move your body every day. This is a picture of Tyson, actually. He started doing down dog, which I'm sure you've seen your kids do as well then too, when he was, oh gosh, I don't know, not even walking yet, like maybe 8 months kind of thing. But really, our bodies are designed to move every single day. This could be walking your dogs if you have them. This could be walking with or without your kids. You could do squats throughout the day. You could do 30 push-ups in sets of 5. You could do lunges across the living room floor. You could do sit-ups. Think of how these things will really add up throughout the day. So think if you did just 50 squats a day from, say, December 1st to 24th, that's about 1,200 squats. That's crazy, right? So you don't have to necessarily get to the gym, because I know sometimes it doesn't happen. Yesterday, I had to go pick up my youngest son, Kai, at daycare. He had a raging fever, which was really crazy. It happened really fast. I got him home. I had to actually cancel my afternoon at the office, which I almost never do. Snuggled. We got him adjusted. His fever broke, and he's doing great today, but he's still home. So upstairs, Ed's with him. So my gym time is probably not going to happen this afternoon. So I might do some of these things to really make sure I'm still moving throughout the day. So even if you're kind of strapped for time, you can still go ahead and do certain things to move your body throughout the day. The next one is to get up early, to have 20, 30 minutes or more just for you. Now, I know this sounds really counterintuitive to say, but wait a second, I'm tired. Shouldn't I get more sleep? But, getting up early, you have to almost just to start this, and just trust me on this one, having time for you first thing, as opposed to alarm goes off, kids wake you up, and kind of starting the day running, will give you so much more feeling of peace, grounded. You're going to stop the race against the clock again from the time you jump out of bed, and you'll have made time for you at the start of the day, right? So how great is that to really have that versus, just kind of craziness, which is often started of many of our days. The next one to increase your energy is to take a nap. Okay, so I have to kind of be honest, because I am very, very transparent about this stuff. I suck at taking naps. I really, really do. I know I've done it a few times, and then when I've done it, I'm like, oh man, this was awesome, like 15, 20 minutes. And I guess in my mind, I kind of go, well, I could take a nap, or I could do stuff on my to-do list, or I could hop on social media and do some posts, or I could organize something or start doing food. So napping is important. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of progressive companies now that actually have nap rooms. And the reason why is they find that increases their productivity with their employees. They have happier employees. They miss less work. So it makes sense to them. So check this out. The National Sleep Foundation says that just a short nap, so anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes each day, can help to improve your mood, make you feel more alert, and this extends for later in the day, not just immediately afterwards. It helps you perform better, and you feel more relaxed and rejuvenated. So napping, there's some cool people in history too that used to nap on a regular basis. I don't know, people like Einstein, Thomas Edison, JFK, all nappers. So napping, and this is just a really, really simple thing to do. And then the last one in this category is just to slow down, right? You could be taking deep breaths throughout the day, 10 deep breaths. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. You could be at a red light. You could do it before you go to sleep at night. But these are, again, just some simple ways to help to increase your energy that doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of small time, and to have that awareness. So tip number 2 is the balance word. Okay, so I've talked about this on the podcast, and I still use this word because a lot of moms, that's the big thing. So I'd love to actually throw it up to the chat and to hear back from you. Is balance something that's a concern for you? So do you feel like, you can't stay balanced, or you don't know how to, or is balance something that's a concern for you? So if that's the case, go ahead and just type yes in the chat box, or heck yes, or hell yes. But is balance something that's a struggle for you? Because this is something I hear from moms over and over and over again, is this notion of like, I need to somehow create some more balance within my life. And how do I actually make that happen? Sorry here for a second. My mouse got lost. There we go. All right. The B word, I like to call us. This is what we kind of think it should look like, right? So we somehow can do all this stuff, and, everything's great. We look great. We got makeup on, but really it's more like this, right? It's like, oh my God, I can't figure out anything. Where's my phone? And I'm like talking on it. I've had some neat, really, really amazing guests on the show that I'm very thankful for. And this is some of the things that they've said about balance. So Sean Fink, who's from AbundantMama.com, says that balance is a myth. Honore Corder, who's written the Successful Single Mom book series, says that balance is BS. And Local Photographer, the one that you see a lot of our beautiful pictures on the Mom at 41 website, friend of mine, Carla Naherney, says that balance looks different for everybody. So, I think we can use that word balance, but we need to understand that it means a certain thing. I think balance doesn't mean that everything is juggling perfectly, okay? I think that balance means that there's different times in your day, days in your week, and times in your life that you'll have to place more weight on one thing than the other, more energy on one part of your life than the other. And for me, my days, evenings, and early mornings when my kids are either at daycare or in bed, those are my work times. So I'm either in my office, I'm recording podcasts, I'm editing, publishing podcasts, I'm writing blog posts, emails, social media, creating programs, kind of all of that. And my weekends, now I'm not perfect at this by all means, but that is my wind down time. It's my time with kids. It's my time with my husband. I'm going to be playing with them. I'm going to be hopefully doing some kind of batch cooking as well then too. And, I still pop on social media. I still do some work in between that, but that's kind of my best way I can lead up to balance. I'm seeing people saying with balance, yeah, love that. Cheryl, balance is certainly a challenge. Absolutely, from Erin. Yeah, and I'll say, 10 days leading up to this webinar, I've been working my butt off, going into kind of full gear getting ready for this. Yesterday, too, when I was planning on doing all the finishing touches, I get the call from daycare. It's like, oh, I got to come pick up Kai. I'm like, crap, okay. So it's a little bit more off balance with maybe some time for me. But again, that's just the notion of balance is going to be different at different times within your life. All right, tip number 3, let go of the guilt. So I know you want to do it all, Mama, or you think that you need to. However, this is really not, I think, a doable thing. And I think doing it all is just not going to happen. And so why? And that's not being negative. I think that's just being honest, right? It's just really not a possible thing. And so the solution, I think, is to really clearly define your boundaries. What are you okay with? What will you not accept when it comes to things that you want to do? Write it down, commit to it, tell others about it so that they're really aware of what those boundaries are. Do we think that we have to really maybe maintain this image because of what we see on Facebook and Pinterest and all this kind of stuff? The mom shaming, the mom blaming, feeling like we're not enough kind of thing. So one kind of cool thing I learned from Danielle Laporte is she talks about creating a stop doing list. So we all have our to-do list. So a stop doing list, I thought was kind of cool. Again, you're just defining your boundaries and saying what you will and will not do. Okay, so here's mine. I'm putting it out there so that you can hold me accountable. Okay, so if you see me talking about this on social media, be like, Karen, remember what you talked about in the webinar. So I love to bake, and most of my family is in Ontario and in Halifax and different parts of the country. And so I will work like mad baking, which I do love to do. It's a real kind of creative outlet for me, and then have to package it up and ship it off and figure out timing. And it's a ton of work. So this year I just went like, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do baking this year. So that's it. And I'm not doing Christmas cards. I didn't do this last year either. But I was just like, what the heck am I doing this for? Who really opens them up anymore? Where do they go? So maybe just decide for this holiday, what is your stop doing list going to look like? You know, what is maybe the one thing you can say, you know what, I'm not going to do this year. I don't have to do everything perfectly, or this is the thing that I'm supposed to be doing just because, and to decide what it is that you're going to add to your stop doing list too. Tip number 4, to save time. I think any way that you can save time for the holidays, do that. So go ahead and type in the chat box. Do you ever feel strapped for time? Do you feel like, oh my God, there's not enough hours in the day? What the heck am I going to do to either maximize my time, try to squeeze more time, multitask? So is time something that's tough for you too? If that's the case, go ahead and just you know, type yes in the chat box, or yeah, time. Can I have 28 hours please instead of 24? So let's talk a little bit of what this means as far as saving time then. So there are some things for sure that I think that we can do to kind of manage our time better, if you will. And so things like batch cooking, right? So spending a couple hours over the weekend. I know for me, it's still super tough because I got little guys running around, especially Kai's kind of at my feet and that. So to get cooking down, what maybe would take me 2 hours before, maybe takes 4 or 5. And I don't maybe really get it all done, right? And so I think just kind of, you know, do your best with that. But yeah, Kim said all the time. Yep, me too, Kim. I'm like, can I have more hours, please? But yeah, there's things that I've kind of just said, look, there's things that I like to do and I can do well. And I think that I want to do. I want to cook for my family. I think that's really important. Yeah, holla back at you, Timmy. See, but on that, Timmy's got in the chat here then too. But there's other things you can do. You could get someone to help you with the cleaning. Now, I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, I can do it and that costs money, and I hear you. But, you know, what is that maybe amount of money going to give you? Is that 2 hours that you could be doing something else with, or that you could be playing with your kids? Maybe just even someone to help you with the snow shoveling, right? Maybe if your kids aren't old enough to help out. You could be creating the list to either grocery shop and for gifts before you leave the store, right? Actually, I'm making a little note of this then too. I'm going to send you out all an email afterwards. So if you want to be taking notes and stuff, cool. But otherwise, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of links to things that we're chatting about. And one is this really, really cool program I just found a few weeks ago, which is called, oh gosh, what's it called now? Plan to Eat, I think. But it's allowing you to actually put either recipes in, find recipes online. It creates a grocery list. You can meal plan. Like, it's awesome and it's super cheap. And I think I saw they have like a Black Friday special coming up this Friday. So I'll include that then too. But yeah, getting kind of organized with that. Maybe batch wrapping of gifts. Kids go to bed, kind of do it all at once. And then also you can take a look at stuff like online shopping. I actually did a lot of stuff online. Amen from Leslie. Yes, the whole time thing. I did a lot of shopping online last year and it was awesome. I really don't like to shop. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only woman that doesn't like to shop, but I really don't enjoy it. And so online to me is great. And again, saves me time. And remember your stop doing list. So I think that you'll notice that if you take some things off of your plate, that this is going to be a little bit easier to do than for you. And to get enough rest to really stop the distraction. So I don't know about you, but oh my gosh, if I'm feeling extra tired, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to pop on and do something really quick. And it's like, especially if the kids aren't around or I'm working during the day or my lunch hour, suddenly it's 30 minutes and I'm looking at pictures of Kim Kardashian's butt. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? So yeah, please get yourself enough rest so that you can, the time that you have, you're actually more productive in doing so. Okay, so we're gonna take a break right now with some puppies. So how is your energy doing? We're about halfway through. Any questions that are coming up for you now, throw them in the chat. If you want to type yes, if you're digging this. So is this some good information so far? Is there anything I'm missing? Is there questions that are still coming up? And I'll kind of keep looking at stuff as I go through. Tracy said, yeah, I hate shopping online. So great. Totally. Except Tracy, but you guys then too. I can't shop for clothes online. I don't know if it's just me, but I'll buy stuff and it looks really good. And then I get it in the mail and it's like, oh crap, this doesn't fit at all. But yes, for other people and for kids and that, shopping online, awesome. Yay, there's more women that don't like shopping. Thank you, Erin. I'm not the only one. This is good. But yeah, we'll kind of take a breath for a second. I'm going to grab a drink of water. I'm also going to take a moment then too, and we'll just kind of pause for a second. But I'm going to make sure that, yeah, I'm going to make sure that I've got everyone's name here in the random selector picker so that when it comes to when I do the draw for the Kindle at the very end, that we've got everyone there in the list. So I'm adding Cheryl, people I didn't get a chance to say hello to yet, Adrienne, Leslie, Pamela, and hi, Nikki, and Nikki. I think I've got everyone there. Kim, Tracy, and Amanda as well then too. Awesome sauce. All right, so we will keep on going here then. Let's continue. Okay, tip number 5, have fun and be silly. I don't know, I found when I became a mom, this is Kai. I had to show some little naked, cute little butt somewhere, but this is my boy Kai. I'll tell you a funny story about this picture. So this is maybe a month ago, and I was like, hey, he hasn't really done the naked time yet. He's like 15 months. So we got out of the tub, and I'm like, he's gonna run around naked. And literally, this is probably maybe a minute after, yeah, I took this picture. He was in the corner playing with toys, and I go to my husband, and I'm like, okay, so I think I should put a diaper on him. He's probably he's gonna pee on the floor soon. Literally, as soon as it came out of my mouth, it was like Calvin and Hobbes pee, like right out. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think it was before that too, he also pooped in the tub. So awesome. So yes, a little story about that. But having fun, be present, play with your kids, be goofy, watch funny movies, watch funny YouTube videos. That bacon dog one, still love it every single time. I think I've watched that video 100 times. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to throw it up in the notes as well then too, that I'll send with you afterwards, but hilarious. Step outside, I think, of what you think is appropriate for a mom. You know, it's like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. I have to be, you know, a little bit more responsible and serious. But honestly, I think one of the coolest things about being a mom is you get to be completely ridiculous and goofy, and it's acceptable and spontaneous and in the moment and laughing all the time and being like your kids and don't care what people think. And just being over the top silly. So I know for me, I like to sing now. I'm not the best singer by any means. However, I just sing at the top of my lungs with my kids, and I make silly songs, and I don't really care how I sound. And the longer I'm a mom, the less I start worrying about that stuff. And yeah, stop worrying so much. You know, I think there's times to be serious. Not that everything is going to be all pretty and roses and everything's wonderful, but I think there's times that we just have to lighten up a little bit and yeah, and just have fun. Hey, this is a cool tip. Cheryl was just saying, said she has to go shopping. It's definitely at a low peak time from 4 to 5 p.m. That's good. I like that. So I will maybe do that when I have to actually venture into the stores sometime this year. And I think maybe we should also just all dance like Elaine. I don't know if there's any Seinfeld fans. If you love Seinfeld, you love Elaine Bennis, just type yes in there. I was actually going to have the video with this of Elaine actually dancing because it's my first webinar. I didn't know if I was going to have a little bit of a challenge with video stuff on there. Karaoke, Tracy, awesome, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to have the video for there because it is hilarious. But you know, Elaine dances like she just doesn't care, and she doesn't even know that she's a terrible dancer. And people showed it, or people actually pointed it out to her on the show. So, anyways, I will have that because that's very, very funny. Tip number 6: buy less, consume less. So let's take a look. I was kind of doing some research, and I was like, okay, how much do we actually spend on gifts each year? I don't know. I thought this was even a little bit low. I think now this is average, right? So average Canadian. Somehow we spend more in Canada than US, apparently, but just under $900. This is per person on holiday gifts. The average American just under $800. And I also found one that said about $250 per kid. So what's your budget? Do you have a budget? Do you want a budget? Do you guys actually budget? I'd like to know. Go ahead and just put that in the chat. Do you have a budget when you go to holiday shop? Now, I know that kind of each year, the first year with Tyson, you know, we said we weren't going to go over, but we kind of did. And yeah, Cheryl, one of my favorite shows. Me too. I love Seinfeld. Sorry, I'm catching up on comments here in the chat room. But yeah, with Tyson, with our very first year, we said we're not going to go crazy. I don't want to be all about the gifts, but it's hard, right? It's there's just a lot of pressure with that stuff. You feel like you have to have all these gifts. What I noticed with Tyson is that he opened up maybe a couple, like by the time he got maybe 2, he kind of understood Christmas. He opened up 1 or 2 and just wanted to play. So we had to kind of point out like, hey buddy, there's more gifts than what you have. But, and you know, I think it kind of comes down to how much do we really need to spend? How many toys do our kids need? How much do we really need? You know, maybe less is more. It's hard to kind of fight all that stuff. But I think even just a little less stuff is a step in the right direction. Look, I think there's nothing wrong with stuff. If you want to have a nice home and cars and, clothes, and really take pride in your stuff, I think there's nothing wrong with that. You can have stuff, and that's totally cool. This isn't about, taking some kind of, that you have to be in a place of poverty and that we should never have stuff. I think that's not okay. You can have stuff. However, how much is really enough with that? And I think instead, I think it's this time of the year, as cheesy as it kind of sounds, that we can really focus less on the stuff. Actually, Timmy's saying she puts a cap on gifts this year, 2 max. They get a lot from family as well. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea then too. And Tracy said somewhat budget. Definitely keep it even between the 2 kids. Yeah, I remember that as a kid growing up. I have 2 older brothers, Tracy, and it would be like we'd all have the same thing. We'd all get the phone, which was a crappy phone back in the 80s. We'd all get the same kind of gloves, but to try to kind of even it out then too. But coming back to gratitude, so yeah, just what can we do to maybe reach out to help another family group or charity? With our boys now, I wanted this year to do something where we're really teaching them to be grateful for what they have, and that we don't really need a lot of that, something kind for a family. So I'm kind of on the hunt right now, looking for a family to help to maybe grab food and toys for this year, or for us to go through with Tyson of toys he just doesn't use anymore or doesn't play with, and to give them away, maybe bake cookies for neighbors. But yeah, I think that's a cool thing. Aaron's actually chimed in here too, saying, not really set budget, love the post on Facebook lately about doing more with experiences instead of toys. Yeah, I agree with you, Aaron. I think that's really cool. I think the experiences are more than anything, and that's a very, I should have saved that comment to the very end, because I've got a great thing I'm talking about with experiences with this whole webinar. But so yeah, that's my kind of take, I guess, on all of the stuff. Whoops, let's go back a little bit here. Okay. Tip number 7 is to take care of you. So I still struggle with this one quite a bit, or I suck at it if I'm being really honest about it. It depends on the day and that kind of thing, but I'm going to give you just 4 simple things that you can really do to help with that. So let's take a look here then. So Leslie's saying just about the whole holiday spending. Now that I have more than 1 child, we will have a budget. It'll be a rude awakening from my firstborn. Yeah, I know. I find that too, Leslie, that I know Tyson just like is asking us more toys. And we don't think we really get him a ton of stuff. But again, he's kind of in that mode. So we'll have to retrain him as well. So look, I think as a woman, especially as a mom, it's easy for us to get caught up in caring for our kids and our significant others and our family and friends. It's easy to take the focus off ourselves, right? It's easy for us to care for others, and especially during the holidays. And I think for some moms, I don't know if you feel this way, I would say I'm better, but this was definitely my mom's generation of, it's selfish to care for me. Isn't it selfish for me to actually care for myself? Sorry, I'm going to go back to the thing then to here, but yes, Pam is saying, set of toys for cousins. I buy gift cards to an activity where we create memories, skiing, art class, golfing. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of what Erin was talking about, right? Of kind of having that experience. But yeah, is it selfish for us to really take care of ourselves? And I say, heck no, it is not. I think we need to care for ourselves. I think we all know this down deep inside, but I think we really have to care for ourselves if we really want to care for our family and friends well. So what can we do? Well, we can take a bath at night, right after the kids go to sleep, with some lovely bath salts or essential oils. Candles, are optional. We'll just say with that then too. But, just take, oh God, I remember the last time I've taken a bath, but just to take that time for you, you could just pause, right? None of these are things that really take you a lot of time, but pause throughout the day, even if just for a few minutes, really experience a moment, walking outside, feeling the sun on your face on a lovely day, cool air on your cheeks if you're in colder parts of the country like we are here in Alberta, the warmth of your bed, the food you eat, just to be mindful as you move throughout the day and to create those moments of pause. Get out for a walk. Bring a dog if you have them. These are my 2 dogs. So that's Carm on the left and Lola on the right. She's squinting because of the flash. This was actually from about 5 years ago, this picture. But I like to get out with my dogs, or something kind of primal out being, just walking with them alone. Sometimes I'll actually do it without the kids, just so I can kind of go with just them and me. But I think getting outside, bundling up if it's, cold, so that you stay out for a long period of time. If you have little ones, maybe you can push them in the stroller and still have that time for you. But I'll tell you what, the movement, getting outside into fresh air, the stress, the craziness, the all of that of your life looks a whole lot better when you come back, and you're a much happier mama when you return. We've all had this experience, but I think it's important. It could even just be 20 minutes as well then too. And the next tip is going to be talking about taking a break from social media, except for Mom at 41. Just kidding. No, really, you need to get off social media sometimes. Again, that's a tough one for me for sure. But you know, you need to take a little bit of a break. And I know I break this real often. It can be very, very addictive. We can do the whole thing about, you know, social media is about connection. And other people will say, but it's really disconnecting because you're not face to face. I think it's cool because look, if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be having this chat right now, right? So there's a lot of great things about it. However, I think that it can also be a major time waster, right? We can hop online for 10 minutes. The next thing you know, it's an hour that's passed by and you're reading some stupid stuff about celebrity gossip that you got distracted. And you never even got to the thing that you wanted to do in the first place. So turn off things like push notifications on your phone. This one's huge, by the way. When I stopped out, it was like I stopped checking my phone like every single time I heard a ding or saw it light up. Maybe have set times that you go in, put the phone down, back away from the phone, right? So just to take a break at times from all that stuff. So how does this all help? You know, when we take a look at, is this really about the tips when it comes to the holiday? You know, sure, they're helpful, right? And I hope they've been helpful for you. If they have, go ahead and just type yes in the chat box if these have been kind of cool, or I'm sure they're not, you know, earth-shattering new things, but maybe just a nice reminder. But what are the holidays really all about, right? Is it about having the perfect Santa picture? I have some moms that I know, and I say this without judgment, so please don't misunderstand me, but they will, and maybe this is you, want to go to a certain mall or find the best looking Santa. And I don't know, for me, I'm like, look, there's a dude over at my mall, and so like, I'm just going to that Santa. I don't really care about that. So, you know, the perfect Santa picture for me isn't important. Is it about having the best holiday party for your friends, getting the best gift for your spouse, or is it maybe something more about the holidays? You know, it's to me, I think it's really about gratitude, about love, about family and relationships. And I'm going to say about love one more time. You know, I think the stuff is cool, the pictures are cool, the holiday baking is cool, but yeah, I think it's good for us to really focus back. So I'm going to read a couple of comments here about social media. Social media black hole, says Timmy. Yeah, reading notifications was a life-changing thing. Took that off. Yeah, for sure with that. And thank you, Aaron. Great reminders. Yeah, I think that's what it's about. You know, we know all of this stuff, right? But are we going to actually practice them? Are we going to actually practice them? So I'll tell you what, my purpose with this webinar today, my purpose with Mom at 41 is for you to know that, you know, the tangible stuff in our lives, that again, the homes, the cars, our clothes, how we look on the outside. And yes, with the holidays, our decorations, how our tree looks, the gifts, the holiday pictures, there's nothing wrong with wanting all this stuff or wanting it to, you know, wanting this stuff, so thinking it's important to you. You can take pride in this stuff and having nice things. It's totally okay. But our holidays, our families, our lives are about connections, really, truly with each other, and the short time that really, really have here on the planet. And so that's why I love this Maya Angelou quote so much. So I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So, you know, I hope with this webinar, through my energy, my intention today, for you to know that I truly do care for you, Mom, and for all the moms everywhere. And I hope I made you feel something and gave you an experience. So this was back to you were saying before, Aaron, about experience. This is really my purpose, is creating experience for you today. And I sincerely want you to feel that you are enough. I think being a mom is freaking hard on our best days, but I'm great. And I think that you should know it. So let's go on to the gifts for today. I'm so excited. Okay, so you would have all gotten the best holiday baking guide at registration. If for some reason you didn't, please email me. Don't put it up in the chat if that's okay, because I have to go through all this stuff afterwards. But just shoot me an email, Dr. Karen at momat41.com, or you can post it up on the Facebook page. But you would have gotten that with the links. There was 5 recipes, including the one you see in the picture. That is bacon chocolate chip cookies, not a typo, delicious. So, and these are quick and easy ones, even if you have things to bake and parties, and again, you want to be going through some of the things that we talked about today. These are simple ones. I'm going to also include in the post email the Imperfect Mama Holiday Gift Guide. So this was actually my solo episode for the Mom at 41 podcast last week. And so what's kind of cool is we're seeing lots of gift guides this time of the year of things we can buy for others. And so this is actually one that you get to buy for yourself, or you're going to give that list to Santa or your significant other, your spouse, friends, family. So if they're asking, you know, what that you would like, these are some great things. And most of these are actually books. Thank you very much, Tracy. I saw Tracy's comments. Good for me to feel connected. Yeah, cool. I love webinars. I'm going to keep doing these. This is so much fun. But yes, I'm going to include the Imperfect Mama Holiday Gift Guide in case you didn't get that. So I'll have the PDF with the links for all those books and some neat kind of extra experiences as well then too. So here's my surprise gift for today. Now, I recently, I don't know if you've heard of the book, The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. She was one of the 3 women that you saw in the picture a little bit earlier. But, and I've vlogged about it a few times. I'll maybe post the links to those podcast episodes and those blogs as well then too. But I recently became a Desire Map facilitator, which means that I will be teaching workshops based on the teachings of the Desire Map book starting in January. So these will be both in person, which will be in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. I'll let you guys know first. You're going to get the download at the beginning. For those that are in the St. Albert area, it's actually going to be at the Enjoy Center in the Wellness Within Spa. So it's one of the beautiful yoga rooms, which I was able to reserve for January, February, and March. I'll have the dates coming out later this week for those to register. But that'll be where the in-person ones are. It'll be a Friday night, so a 7 to 10, and then a full day Saturday. Plus, there's going to be virtual ones. So there's a lot of our community that actually is online. Yes, Timmy, you get a gift guide for you. Yes, see Timmy's comment. But yeah, a lot of our community is actually online. I had a really cool message from a listener to the podcast in Italy. Oh my God, like a couple of weeks ago, I just about bawled because it's just, yeah, connection to me is everything. It's neat to know how this is helping to connect with women, not just locally, but really around the world. And so the virtual workshops will allow those that are not local, or even if they are local and just can't make it or can't get a sitter, can actually still get going to go through all of the information, the exercises to really teach you everything about the Desire Map. So creating goals with soul, and to create something that Danielle Laporte talks about, which is your core desired feelings, which is really about living your life based on how you want to feel every day and designing your life, you know, so that you wake up excited to get out of bed and do things in your day and achieve things based on how you want to feel, which to me completely blew my mind when I read this book earlier this year. I was so fed up with traditional goal stuff, and it was just like, it was just blah, didn't mean anything to me, a list of things to achieve, but how I wanted to feel really resonated with me. So the in-person and the virtual workshops, which by the way, the virtual workshops will be 4 weeks, and it'll be 90 minutes a week. And I'm going to have 2 sessions going simultaneously because I have some listeners that are like in England. And so I'm trying to kind of figure out a time. It will most likely be 1 evening a week. So it'll be the evening session or an early Sunday or Saturday morning, probably Sunday morning. But I'll have the registration page ready later this week. I'll make sure that everyone is on the webinar to give you all that then too. But for all of you, you'll get $27 off for either the in-person or the virtual workshops beginning January. And in that email, I'll give the discount code. Now, I plan to have everything ready by this webinar, but with the snafu with Kai yesterday, it never got all done. So I will make sure that you get all that stuff as well then too. But I'm super, super excited. I've wanted to do some coaching for quite some time. And to me, when this program came about, it was perfect. It was everything that I was looking for. It was all the structure. And I know that the Desire Map and the work of that is going to make a huge difference for you as it has in my life as well. All right, let's give away the candle. I'm so excited. Okay, so I have this random selector right now, which I was going to go back and screen share, but because this is my first webinar, I almost screwed up. So I'm going to make sure that I do this properly. So I've got everyone's names in here. And I think a couple of you have popped off the webinar. So if I do draw someone's name and they're not here, then of course they're not going to be eligible for it. But I'm going to go ahead and pick the random selector right now. And then what I'd like you to do, if this is you, just go ahead and type yes in the chat bar, the chat room. And I'll make sure then what I'm actually do is if you're local, I'll just, we can meet somewhere and I'll give it to you. If you're not local, I will mail it to you. I'm going to order it on Amazon today. And so that way, if I need to actually mail it to you, then I can just mail it directly to you. And this is one of the newer Kindles with touch and a great way for you to read. Maybe you can actually even to get some of the books that I talk about on the Holiday Mama Gift Guide, the Imperfect Holiday Mama Gift Guide. Okay, so here we go. Drum roll. Okay, maybe it's not going to go as quickly. There we go. The winner is Erin. Erin, congratulations. Woo! I know Erin is definitely not local. She is in. Erin, you're in Texas, I believe, correct? I think you're in Texas. So anyways, Erin, go ahead and type yes. I want to make sure that you're still here. and that I can give that to you. Actually, I can see that you're still on, but go ahead and type yes. I want to make sure that you heard that you won the Kindle, and I'm super, super excited. So Erin, type yes. Get in there, girl. Maybe she's jumped off for a second. But if for some reason Erin is not here, I can see that she's still in the chat, but maybe she's gone just to check on kids for just a moment. I will actually redo this, and I'll send that in the post email for you. But Erin has won the Kindle. Congratulations, Erin. So a few more things, and before we finish up then, let me just pop on over. This has been a blast, by the way. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Okay. I love and appreciate you. I just want to finish with that. I really sincerely do. I want to make sure that we can stay connected. And so a couple different things. Now, some of you already have this. If you actually are on the webinar, so yes, oh my goodness, Erin, really you. Yes, really you, hon. You won the Kindle. That is for you, or give it away, whatever you want to do. So I will send that to you. So Erin, shoot me an email today if you could then, hon, and yes, you're welcome. And give me your address, and then I'll order the Amazon. I'll order it on Amazon and send it directly to you. Sounds super fun. Okay, so staying connected, Moment 41 newsletter. If you popped on the webinar as you are, you're automatically in the newsletter, so you're already getting that. That goes out twice per week. So I send one with a personal story, inspiration, or struggle. And then the second one during the week is a lot of the kind of update stuff of podcast episodes and that kind of thing. The Desire Map newsletter, and again, all these links in for you. So this really gives you up-to-date information. I'm sending most of the information out through the newsletter, also in the Moment 41 newsletter as well. But as we lead up to it, I'm going to have pictures of the room and getting all the books and everything, just kind of keeping the loop and get you excited as we launch that in January. The Moment 41 podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. I would love for you to subscribe. You know, take a look, listen to episodes, let me know what you think. And then all stuff, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. I love it all. So, and thank you for all the lovely messages coming through. I love you guys, I really do. And I'm here for you. So if there's anything you ever want to chat about, please feel free to email me. You can send a message by private message on Facebook, tweet me, post it on Facebook. But I'm really, really happy to have you all here today. And my last slide, actually more webinars coming soon. So this is my first. I'm really, really stoked. So I'm going to be probably putting out one a month, if not maybe every 2 weeks. So if you can make them, great. If not, registering to get the replay. And I just want to finish with just to say thank you. To honor your time today, your energy, and who you be. Danielle Laporte always says this really cool thing, which I love, which I'm getting all choked up. So she does this really cool thing, which she just says deep bow. So just and if you don't know about me then too now, I cry easily. So I'm just going to finish with this because I'm going to start bawling. I'm just really, really happy to be here, but deep bow. And that's it. So thank you so much for being here today. I'll leave you with this lovely quote. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Make sure to connect online. I will send you the post email, and I love and appreciate you all. Have an awesome day, guys. Talk to you soon.